She was a broke nurse with nothing but a kind heart. When she gave her only toy to a sick little girl, she never imagined the girl's father was secretly watching, and that he was a millionaire CEO. What he did next, it changed her life forever. Before diving into the story, comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the latest stories. I'll be okay without it. It was just another long, quiet evening at the children's hospital. The fluorescent lights buzzed softly overhead, casting a pale glow over the waiting area. 8-year-old Lily sat next to her mother on the stiff plastic chairs, legs dangling, hands clasped tightly in her lap. The beeping of monitors and the occasional murmur from the nurse's station had become a familiar soundtrack to her life. She was waiting for test results again. It had become routine. In the past year, Lily had spent more time in hospitals than playgrounds. She didn't ask many questions anymore. Her mom always tried to explain things gently, but Lily could see the worry in her eyes. She knew things weren't okay. Not with her health, not with money, not since her dad had passed away. Her mother had lost her job a few months ago, and bills had started to pile up like the clouds that never seemed to go away. They had sold many of their belongings, moved to a smaller apartment, and skipped a few dinners. But through it all, Lily had one constant: a small, scruffy stuffed bunny named Coco. Coco had been with her since she was a toddler. He had one button eye, worn fur from years of cuddling, and a pink ribbon that had long since frayed. He wasn't much to look at, but to Lily, Coco was everything. He had soaked up her tears during the nights she missed her dad most, listened patiently when she talked about her fears, and kept her company during every hospital visit. That night, as she clutched Coco in her arms, something caught her attention across the room. A little girl, maybe 5 years old, sat in a wheelchair near the nurse's desk. Her tiny head was bald, likely from chemotherapy. Her face was red and puffy from crying, her small body trembling with fear. A nurse bent down, trying to soothe her with kind words and a soft voice, but nothing seemed to help. The girl was inconsolable. Lily watched quietly. Her chest tightened. She didn't know this little girl, but she could feel her pain, raw, helpless, and all too familiar. After a moment of hesitation, Lily stood up. She walked slowly across the room, her bunny clutched tightly in her hand. Her mom watched her, puzzled, but said nothing. Lily stopped in front of the sobbing girl and knelt down so they were eye to eye. She didn't say much, just a whisper, gentle, honest, and full of heart. "I'll be okay without it," Lily said softly, placing Coco into the little girl's lap. "She can keep her company. She helped me when I was scared too." The little girl looked up, blinking through her tears. Her sobs began to fade as her fingers reached for the bunny. She hugged Coco tightly, as if she had found something she didn't know she needed. For the first time that evening, a smile, small but sincere, lit up her face. The nurse stood silently, her hand over her heart, visibly moved by the gesture. Lily didn't wait for praise or attention. She simply gave the girl a small smile, then stood up and walked back to her seat. Her mother looked at her, eyes glassy with emotion. "Are you sure, sweetheart?" she asked, touching Lily's shoulder. Lily nodded. "She needed her more than I do." She sat back down, her hands now empty, but her heart strangely full. The seat next to her felt colder without Coco, but inside, there was a quiet warmth, a feeling that she had done something that mattered. For Lily, that night wasn't about her own pain or fear. It wasn't about test results or hospital rooms. It was about kindness, about giving, even when you have very little, and about how one small act of love, one stuffed bunny, could change someone's world, even for just a moment. And in that moment, Lily didn't feel poor, or sick, or broken. She felt powerful, because even without Coco, she knew she would be okay. A quiet goodbye and a stormy ride home. Lily's mom knelt beside her and pulled her into a hug, holding her tightly as if she could protect her from everything the world had thrown their way. Her voice was soft and shaky as she whispered, "That was the kindest thing I've ever seen, sweetheart." Lily didn't say much. She simply shrugged, her eyes still on the little girl, now gently rocking her new stuffed bunny in her arms. "She needed it more than I did," she murmured. There wasn't much left to say after that. The nurse gave Lily a grateful nod as they walked past the reception desk. The automatic doors opened with a hiss, letting in a gust of cool, wet air. Rain was falling in thick sheets, painting the parking lot in silver puddles. The hospital lights reflected off the water, making everything shimmer and blur like a dream. They climbed into their old, dented sedan, the kind that rattled when it idled and groaned when it turned. Her mom started the engine, and it coughed to life reluctantly. One of the windshield wipers was stuck, and the other squeaked across the glass with every swipe. The heater barely worked, and cold air leaked in from the doors. Lily pressed her forehead against the cold window and watched the raindrops race each other down the glass. The quiet inside the car was heavy, broken only by the sputtering engine and the occasional creak of the windshield wiper. Her mom gripped the steering wheel tighter than usual. She thought Lily couldn't see, but the faint glisten of tears in her eyes gave her away. She wiped them quickly at each red light, sniffling quietly as she stared ahead. Lily didn't say anything. She knew. Money had been tight for a long time. Too tight. Ever since her dad died, everything had slowly unraveled. First, her mom had to leave work to take care of Lily. Then came the mounting bills, the phone calls that made her mom's face tense, the skipped meals. Their dinners had become simpler with each passing week, sometimes just toast with butter or rice and a boiled egg. Birthdays passed without presents. Even trips to the thrift store became rare, but Lily never complained. She understood more than most kids her age. She knew what it meant when her mom said they were just getting by. She knew that when her mom skipped dinner and said she wasn't hungry, it wasn't true. And she knew that buying another stuffed toy to replace Coco simply wasn't an option. Still, she didn't regret giving him away. When they reached their apartment, a small second-floor unit with peeling paint and a flickering porch light, they were both soaked from the dash through the rain. Her mom wrapped her old hoodie around Lily's shoulders and handed her a towel as they stepped inside. Their apartment was quiet, the kind of quiet that felt a little too loud. The heater wheezed to life as her mom turned it on, and the living room lamp buzzed faintly. Lily changed into her pajamas, still damp from the rain, and crawled into bed. Her room felt different now. There was an empty space on her pillow where Coco always sat. Her arms instinctively reached out for him in the dark, but found only the cool fabric of her blanket. Her throat tightened a little, but she didn't cry. Instead, she closed her eyes and imagined the little girl in the hospital holding Coco. Maybe she was sleeping with him now, snuggled up in her hospital bed. Maybe she felt a little less scared, a little more loved. The thought made Lily smile faintly in the darkness. The storm outside had grown louder, rain pelting the windows and thunder rumbling in the distance. Her mom peeked in and gently pulled the blanket up to Lily's chin. "Good night, my brave girl," she whispered. Lily opened her eyes just enough to smile. "Good night, Mama." As the door closed softly, Lily curled into a ball. Her arms still missed the familiar softness of Coco's fur. It wasn't easy, letting go of the only comfort she had left, but she didn't regret it. Not one bit. Because tonight, even without Coco, she felt something else. She felt proud. And in that small apartment, on a stormy night with empty arms but a full heart, Lily finally drifted off to sleep. The surprise that changed everything. 3 days after that stormy night, the rain had stopped, but the skies were still gray. Lily was sitting cross-legged on the worn carpet of their living room, drawing with a stubby crayon on the back of a cereal box. Her mom was in the kitchen, making a pot of oatmeal stretch a little farther than it should have. That's when there was a knock at the door. It wasn't loud, but firm. Purposeful. Lily's mom glanced up, surprised. They weren't expecting anyone. She wiped her hands on a dish towel and opened the door cautiously. Her breath caught in her throat. She staggered back a step. Standing on the other side was a tall man in a sleek navy blue suit. He had neatly combed salt and pepper hair, kind eyes, and a warm smile. In one arm, he held an enormous teddy bear, twice the size of Lily, and in the other, a large bag overflowing with colorful toys, books, and plush animals. Behind him stood the nurse from the children's hospital, her eyes twinkling with excitement. "Good afternoon," the man said gently. "I'm Mr. Turner. You don't know me, but my daughter does." Lily peeked out from behind her mother, her eyes wide with curiosity and confusion. The man's face softened as he knelt down, lowering the teddy bear to the floor so he could speak to her eye to eye. "My daughter's name is Ella," he said. "She's 5. A few days ago, at the hospital, she was having a really rough day. She hadn't smiled in weeks. Wouldn't speak. Wouldn't eat much. We were terrified. Lily nodded slowly, remembering the sobbing girl in the wheelchair. She was crying, she whispered. Mr. Turner smiled, a little mist in his eyes. She was. But then a little girl walked over and gave her a one-eyed, worn-out bunny named Coco. Lily's cheeks turned pink. She hasn't let go of that bunny since. She sleeps with it, eats with it, took it with her to every treatment. She calls it her hero bunny. His voice wavered with emotion. And you, Lily, are the reason she smiles now. Lily looked down at her hands, unsure what to say. I'm glad she likes it. More than you know, Mr. Turner said softly. He stood again and turned to Lily's mom. You see, I'm also the CEO of Turner Tech. Lily's mom blinked. Turner Tech. Her voice cracked slightly. She knew that name well. Turner Tech was one of the biggest tech companies in the country, a billion-dollar enterprise known for innovation and influence. She had applied for a job there twice before, once as a receptionist, once as an assistant, but had never received a response. Mr. Turner continued, I spend my days in boardrooms, surrounded by people chasing profits, deals, and status. But nothing I've seen in any office, meeting, or report has touched me the way your daughter's act of kindness did. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a folded paper. This is a job offer. Full-time, with benefits and flexibility. For Lily's appointments. I checked your resume. We made a mistake not hiring you before. I won't make it again. Lily's mom stared at the paper, trembling. Her hand flew to her mouth, trying to hold back a sob. I don't know what to say. Say yes, the nurse said with a laugh. He's very persistent. Mr. Turner chuckled and bent down again. And as for you, Lily, he reached into the toy bag and pulled out a brand new stuffed bunny. This one was white with floppy ears, a bow tie, and a heart stitched onto its chest. It's not Coco, he admitted. But we thought maybe he could be Coco's cousin. Lily took the bunny and hugged it tightly. Her eyes sparkled. Thank you. And one more thing, Mr. Turner added. Ella's doctors say she'll be okay, but the journey will be long. She could really use a friend. Maybe we could set up some playdates. Lily beamed. I'd love that. As they all stepped into the apartment, the nurse, Mr. Turner, and his armful of toys, something shifted. The room felt warmer, lighter, filled with hope. In that moment, Lily understood something even deeper than before. Kindness wasn't just about giving. It had the power to come back. Bigger, brighter, and more beautiful than you ever expected. And sometimes, when you give from the heart, the universe answers in ways you never could have imagined. Mr. Turner stood up slowly, brushing invisible dust from the sleeve of his tailored suit. The smile never left his face as he turned to look at Lily's mother, who stood frozen in the middle of the living room, still holding the folded job offer in her trembling hands. I came here today, he said gently, because I wanted to do something in return. I know things have been hard for you both, more than hard. I've read your story, seen your applications, and heard what the nurses had to say about your strength as a mother. So I'd like to offer you a job, personally. Lily's mom blinked rapidly, her eyes wide with disbelief. Her fingers tightened around the paper. A real job, he continued. Full salary, excellent health coverage, room to grow, and the flexibility you need to care for Lily. You've spent so long putting her first. It's time someone put you first, too. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Finally, she whispered, I don't know what to say. Mr. Turner stepped closer and gently placed a hand on her shoulder. Say yes, he said softly, because you deserve it. Tears welled in her eyes as she nodded, overcome by the sudden flood of hope, relief, and disbelief. It had been so long since someone looked at her and saw worth. Not just a struggling single mother, not a resume in a pile, but someone capable, strong, and deserving. There's more, Mr. Turner added, turning to Lily. He pulled something from the inside pocket of his suit jacket, a sleek, golden envelope with her name written on it in elegant script. He knelt down and handed it to her. This, he said, is for you. Lily took it with small, careful hands and opened the envelope. Inside was a thick letterhead and a single sentence in bold print. Lily Rose Bennett, awarded Lifetime Educational Scholarship Fund, valid through college and beyond. Her brow furrowed. What's a scholarship? Her mom covered her mouth again, choking on ASOB.MR. Turner smiled. It means, no matter what you want to study or become, a teacher, an artist, a scientist, a doctor, you won't have to worry about money. Your education is fully paid for. School, college, everything. Lily's eyes widened. Everything. Everything, he confirmed. You just keep being you. Her mom finally broke into a full cry, covering her face with her hands. You don't understand what this means to us, she said through her tears. I think I do, Mr. Turner said softly. Because one small act of kindness from your daughter changed everything for mine. He walked over to the window and gazed out at the cloudy sky. Ella was losing hope. We all were. We were drowning in fear, in uncertainty. But that little bunny, that gift from Lily, it lit something up in her. A spark. And from that spark came light for our whole family. He turned back to face them. Kindness like that, it doesn't go unnoticed. It doesn't end in a moment. It ripples. The nurse stepped forward, dabbing her eyes with a tissue. We see hundreds of kids come through those doors every month. But I've never seen anything like what Lily did. She gave something she loved without expecting anything in return. That's rare. That's powerful. Lily stood quietly, holding the envelope close to her chest. She didn't fully understand the weight of what had just happened, but she could feel it. The way the room was glowing with joy, how her mom laughed. Through tears for the first time in months, how Mr. Turner looked at her like she was someone important. She smiled. A soft, shy smile.Mr. Turner looked at her and nodded. You may not know it yet, Lily, but you've already made the world a better place. You changed my daughter's life. And today, you changed ours. He reached down, handed her the oversized teddy bear once again, and said, Now it's your turn to dream big. As he stepped out into the hallway, the clouds outside finally began to part. Sunlight spilled through the window, warming the small apartment that had known far too many cold days. Lily looked at her mom, who wiped her cheeks and laughed, really. Laughed, for the first time in a long while. And in that golden, glowing moment, Lily didn't feel poor. She didn't feel sick. She didn't even feel like a little girl who had given away her favorite toy. She felt like someone who mattered, and she knew, without a doubt, this was just the beginning. That a week had passed since Mr. Turner's visit, and life in the small apartment already felt different. There was laughter again. There was light. The fridge wasn't empty anymore, and Lily's mom no longer had to pick between gas money or groceries. Each morning, she left for her new job at Turner Tech with a proud smile and returned home with stories of projects and new friends. Lily, meanwhile, was doing better too. School didn't feel so scary. She walked the halls with more confidence and joined a reading club, something she'd never dared to do before. Her teachers noticed a new spark in her, a brightness that hadn't been there just weeks ago. But nothing prepared them for what arrived one sunny afternoon. There was a soft knock at the door, followed by the shuffle of footsteps retreating down the hallway. When Lily's mom opened the door, no one was there, but on the welcome mat sat a large, carefully wrapped package with Lily's name on it. She called for Lily, and together they peeled off the brown paper and layers of protective tissue. Inside, nestled in a bed of soft cotton, was something Lily hadn't expected to see again. It was Coco, her beloved, one-eyed bunny. Only now, Coco had been gently cleaned. His missing eye had been lovingly replaced. The little rips along his ear and belly had been sewn up with tiny, precise stitches. Around his neck was a satin ribbon, tied in a perfect bow. Lily gasped, her hands flying to her mouth. Coco, she whispered, barely believing her eyes. Attached to Coco's ear was a small handwritten note on thick stationery. Dear Lily, Ella wanted you to have Coco back, because you made her believe in hope. But don't worry, she has a new bunny now, and she named her Lily. Thank you for being her hero. Mr. Turner and Ella. Tears filled Lily's eyes as she pulled Coco into her arms and hugged him tightly, burying her face in his soft fur. She didn't care that she was crying. They were happy tears, the kind that came when something lost found its way back home. Her mom knelt beside her and wrapped her in a warm hug. He came back to you, baby, she whispered. Lily nodded, her voice cracking. But I didn't need him to come back. I was okay. I know, her mom said, brushing her hair gently. That's what made it so beautiful. From that day on, Coco sat proudly on Lily's bed, always within arm's reach. But he was no longer just a stuffed toy. He had become a symbol of courage, kindness, and the quiet strength of giving without expectation. Their lives blossomed in ways Lily never imagined. Her mom thrived in her new job, even earning a promotion within months. She had a new wardrobe, a new sense of purpose, and for the first time in years, a sense of security. Lily began to dream bigger. She wanted to be a writer, then a nurse, then maybe even someone who started her own charity. She didn't have to choose yet. What mattered was that now, she could dream it all, because someone believed in her enough to make those dreams possible. And every time things got hard, when bills still felt tight, or when school felt overwhelming, Lily would sit with Coco. And remember that moment in the hospital, when a single act of kindness changed everything. She didn't give Coco away for attention or reward. She gave him because someone else was hurting. And from that one small gesture came a chain of miracles, a job, a scholarship, a friendship, a new future. Sometimes, the most powerful gift isn't wrapped in shiny paper or topped with a bow. Sometimes, it's wrapped in love, sacrifice, and compassion. Lily gave away her only treasure, not because she had extra, but because she knew someone needed it more. She gave from a place of empathy. And in doing so, she unlocked something priceless. The understanding that true kindness never disappears. It multiplies. So, the next time life gives you a chance to be kind, take it, because you never know who's watching, or how deeply one small act of love might change the world. Bell, thanks for watching. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another powerful story. Speech balloon, got a moment that changed your life? Share it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Movie Camera. New inspiring stories every week. Because sometimes, a few minutes can change everything.